The second half of the NBA season is underway. And what is going on in Philadelphia and New York? Well, Lakers look good. Doncic showed up. The West has been fun to watch. Shout out to Golden State. But in the East, the Lakers is Boston and Cleveland and everybody else because we don't know what's going on with the Sixers and the Knicks. I think we should talk about it. And also, the college basketball season is winding down. The ladies are going into their final week of the season. Texas is on top. That's the number one team. And then on the men's side, they have 2 weeks to go. This week and next week before they hit conference tournament play. And the SEC still the most dominant conference to date. This is Shooting the Lights Out on a Tuesday for the second week in a row. And it starts right now.
Sound like some Viking music, don't it?
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick it again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud. Gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go. Let's go.
Shooting Lights Out.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, it's another Tuesday, and I'm doing Sharing Lights Out again because I wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row, all my T's crossed, all my I's dotted when I brought you this up. So instead of doing yesterday, I'm doing it today, Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. I hope y'all ready because second half of the NBA season has started. As we mentioned in the opener, running down the college basketball season. It's a lot of stuff to talk about, Got to dive into the East and the NBA because something is going on in the East. I definitely need to talk about, and we're gonna talk good about college basketball because this season has been phenomenal. So when conference tournament play starts next week for the ladies, and then in 2 weeks afterwards the men, it should be fun to fill out the conference champions and see who's gonna get automatic bids and who else we get at large bids when Selection Sunday gets here. Remember, Selection Sunday is March 16th. We're not that far away, so get ready. March Madness is right around the corner. We about to be in the madness season, so get ready for it. But as I always do, the Playmakers in the building down there, Silent Siri. Welcome to Shooting Lights Out. Shooting Lights Out is live on the Playmakers Bar Facebook page, our YouTube page, and our X account as well. Shout out to Redwise Radio and 502 American Angel Radio, as you will be listening to these on those two platforms later on in this week. Also, you can also follow Shooting Lights Out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Anywhere you get your podcasts that you can also follow this show as well. Now we got all the pleasantries and the greetings out the way. I got some news and notes for you, so let's go around the hardwood. And to begin our Around the Hardwood section, we're going to start right here. And we're going to start in the city of San Antonio, Texas. Man, last week was not a fun week if you're a Spurs fan. Shout out to my good friend Megan Price, the Queen of Hoops. I'm in contact with her, see if we can get her on to talk some basketball because that time of year that we usually get her on. But as a Spurs fan that she is, man, Wembanyama is shut down for the season because of blood clot in the shoulder. Man, you hate to hear that. You hate to see that. But this is what Wembanyama is. So he is shut down for the season with a blood clot. Players for your safely return to the court, Wembanyama. You've been having a great season, and it sucks that your season had to end this way. But health over everything matters. So we want you to get healthy. Deal with the blood clot. You see what happened with Chris Bosh when he had blood clots. I think it was in his chest. That's pretty much ended his career. Hopefully this blood clot doesn't end Wembanyama's career. But yeah, it sucks that We won't be able to see him finish this season when he was doing pretty good and he had the San Antonio Spurs in contention for the play-in at least. But we'll see how the Spurs respond after this. Sticking with the Spurs, it is being expected that Greg Popovich will not be returning this season. This might be the correct choice. I know as a big fan of Pop, he did suffer a stroke in November, which is not something you want to play with, even though we are in the month of February. It might be the best decision for him to sit out this season. It also might be time for him to hang up the suits and call it a career, man. You're a 5-time NBA champion as a coach with the San Antonio Spurs. You've been to numerous playoffs. I mean, you've been to numerous finals. You did lose one to Miami, but Pop, you had a hell of a year, a hell of a career at that. If this is the end, then so be it. You've done enough for the game of basketball. You were Olympic gold medalist coach for Team USA as well. Not only as an assistant, but as the head coach as well. When you was with Mike Krzyzewski in that time. I think you've done everything you can for the game of basketball. I think we will understand if you step away and call it quits from coaching basketball. We will understand. We will appreciate you because you gave so much to the game. But yes, it is unfortunate, just like Wembanyama, that we will not be seeing Pop nor Wembanyama in the San Antonio Spurs for the rest of this season. Moving on. This one, oh boy. BJ Freeman, the Sun Devils leading scorer, is no longer with the Arizona State Sun Devils due to detrimental conduct. The article from the Associated Press reads as to follow. Arizona State leading scorer BJ Freeman is no longer with the men's basketball program because of conduct detrimental to the team, a team spokesperson confirmed Sunday. The dismissal follows a turbulent stretch for Freeman, who was ejected in games against Colorado and Arizona during conference play. The one that you see in here is against Arizona and Caleb Williams. They both got ejected from the game. He was suspended from the team's road loss at Oklahoma State on February 9th. The 6'6" senior is averaging 13.7 points over 25 games. He last played Tuesday in a 80-65 loss to number 5 Houston, scoring 17 points. I don't know if he's planning on going to the NBA. You would like to think so, if he's the leading scorer of the team. And then with that being said, you would like to think, will this hurt him getting drafted to the NBA? You have to think this because you got ejected from 2 games, Colorado and Arizona. You were suspended for the Oklahoma State game. And now you're no longer with the team. You've been dismissed from the team. Period. We know how character issues can impact somebody's draft stock, not only in basketball, but also in other sports like the football, in the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. So we've seen this before. So we want to know if he plans on going to the next level. How would his character be assessed going into the next level to these teams? That's all we want to know. It's unfortunate that it's like this, but this is where we're at. So I hope, Mr. Freeman, you'll get your act together in this time that you're away, that you'll put yourself in positions to do better if you do go to the next level, which is the NBA. It's something that I didn't see coming. It's something I don't think nobody saw coming. And that was Aria Atkins was traded from the Washington Mystics to the Chicago Sky for the 3rd overall pick So here's the crazy thing. When I saw this, I was like, Chicago won. No, Chicago actually was crazy enough to do it. We've been seeing a lot of crazy trades going on this season in the WNBA and in the NBA. Man, it all kicked off when we found out Kelsey Plum got traded for Jewel Lloyd. We found Jewel Lloyd was going to Las Vegas. Kelsey Plum was going to LA to join the Sparks all out of nowhere. What the heck? Where did this come from? Then you thought what happened in the NBA, but obviously Luka Doncic for AD trade took place. Jimmy Butler to go in the state happened. Now we got this one. Aria Atkins is joining the Sky. She will be joining Angel Reese and Camila Cardozo as the real building begins in Chicago. I don't think they'll be bringing Kennedy Carter back. I would like for them to, but speaking of character issues and attitude problems, that would be one of the reasons why Chicago probably is not bringing back Kennedy Carter, even though they probably be in their best interest too. But like I said, character and issue problems. This is what happens. So we got to deal with that. So we don't know. But this is a crazy trade. Now the Washington Wizards has the 3rd overall pick in this upcoming draft, which takes place in May. So we're about a couple of months away from that taking place, which is going to be an interesting one to see, by the way. It's going to be interesting to see who goes number one, because we have no idea who's going number one. We thought it was going to be Paige Beckers when we started this. Then all of a sudden, other people start throwing their names in the hat by the way they've been performing this season. So you just never know. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch going forward. And let's see what happens with Aria Atkins and the Chicago Sky this upcoming season. Hit the NBA real quick before I get into other news and notes that's not part of the slide. The Warriors retired former Finals MVP Andre Iguodala's jersey. The Warriors retired the jersey. I believe it was against the Dallas Mavericks in San Francisco. They beat Dallas Mavericks because they had no AD. They have no. Pretty much, they starting front line is injured. Let's put it like that. That's why Dallas is struggling. If you want to know, they starting front line led by Anthony Davis is all injured right now. Godfrey and Lively. They all injured. So the Golden State Warriors did what they need to do. They've been playing good ball, but I already talk about how good the Golden State Warriors been playing when we get to our NBA portion of the show. But good to see that Andre Iguodala's being recognized for what he did for the Golden State Warriors and that dynasty, along with Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Y'all know he was the Finals MVP in 2015. Everybody thought it should have been Steph Curry, but it would be Andre Iguodala. They gave it to him because he was the one who was sticking LeBron James. Even though he didn't stop LeBron James didn't average a triple-double in that finals, if I remember correctly. But they gave Andre Iguodala, and Andre Iguodala, he's been a great sportsman of the game ever since he was drafted to the field of 76ers. That was when Allen Iverson was still part of the 76ers, by the way. AI to AI. That's how that went. So, Andre Iguodala had a good career. Could I see Andre Iguodala in the Hall of Fame? Yes, I can. First ballot? I don't know about first ballot. Maybe the second or third year he'll get in. I don't know about first ballot. But yes, I see Andre Iguodala in the Hall of Fame, which should be the next step for him. Jersey retired in Golden State now. Next step will be for Andre Iguodala to get to the Hall of Fame. Now, this is not the end of the round of hardwood, because I got some more news. Got a couple more news going back to the college ranks here. Arizona apologizes for fans' derogatory chant aimed at BYU. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So, Toby Mill, Drew Willie, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Thanks for joining in. Arizona had to apologize to BYU for derogatory chants aimed at BYU following the Cougars' upset win over then 19th ranked Arizona in Tucson this past weekend. Per video of the incident, Wildcat fans chanted an expletive and morons towards BYU, the flagship school of the Church of Jesus Christ. As players exit the floor, it kept a chaotic finish that included controversial foul calls and irate coaches and players. The athletic director of Arizona had a statement came out and said, quote, following tonight's men's basketball game, it was brought to our attention that an unacceptable chant occurred. On behalf of the University of Arizona Athletic Department, we apologize to BYU, their student athletes, coaches, and fans. The chant is not reflective of who we are and should not have happened. Here's the thing. If you notice, we in a world where however you feel, you speaking it. They don't care if it's right, wrong, or indifferent. If they feel that way, if people feel that way, they are going to say it. And there was a group of people of them, especially at sporting events, feel the same way. They are going to chant it and make sure they are heard. This is the time that we're living in. So derogatory chants has been happening often than usual. Well, I won't say it happened often than usual. I would say it's been recognized often than usual. I'm pretty sure derogatory chants been happening all across sports for billions of years, okay? But now they get more light shed on this as the kind of world that we're living in. Derogatory chants here, derogatory chants there. People shouldn't do it either way. But we are in a world. If you think it, you feel it, you express it. That's the world that we're living in. So these derogatory chants that's going on throughout the nation, people don't care no more. They're going to say what they want to say. They're going to feel the way they want to feel, whether it's right or wrong. It doesn't matter to them anymore, which is very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. From there, we stick within the Big 12, by the way, and we go not too far from BYU. We go to Utah. Let's go to Salt Lake City. The Utes have fired basketball coach Craig Smith in 4th season. Utah has fired men's basketball coach Craig Smith nearly 4 seasons. It was announced on yesterday. The Utes fell to 15-12, and they are 7-9 in the Big 12 after losing to UCF on Sunday. Utah beat Kansas and Kansas State in back-to-back games early this month, and also had a win against over BYU, their rivals. Nevertheless, 15-12 ain't gonna cut it. It's not gonna get you into the tournament. Athletic director Mark Hanlon had this to say regarding the firing, or after the firing of Mr. Smith. I want to thank Craig for his work and commitment since he arrived in Salt Lake City. He has led us to special moments and memorable victories, and Craig has poured his heart into building our current team. However, we have greater aspirations for our men's basketball program, and our expectation is to regularly compete in the NCAA tournament. I believe a change is needed to get us to where we want to go. The time is now to begin that process, close quote. So there you go. Derogatory terms directed at one school from Utah, then the other Utah school is firing their coach because they can't compete for the NCAA tournament. Welcome to the game of basketball in the United States of America. Welcome. D. Willie says, Washington being Washington again. Hey, man, y'all got the 3rd pick, man. That's something. Y'all got the 3rd overall pick now. On top of whatever 1st round pick that y'all also had. So y'all got some picks. Now you can bring that coming back up. Depends on how they do in the draft, and they haven't really doing much in free agency. But let's see what the misses do in the draft, Drew. Let's see what the misses do in the draft. That's all. Let's see what they do in the draft, and then we can come back and visit this conversation with more evidence. But for right now, you got the 3rd pick. You can't be mad at it. You got your 1st round pick. You got 3rd pick. I think you got another pick too. I think you got like 3 picks in the 1st round. So if they do what they supposed to do, Washington could be, hovering around doing some things before you know it. I know it ain't the same ever since, Ella Della Don stepped away from the game, and she was Washington through and through, okay? She put Washington on the map. recently and brought a championship to Washington, if I remember correctly. But, these things happen, Drew. You just be patient. You had to be patient with the Commanders, right? You see what they did. Be patient with your Mystics. They'll get it right. If they have a competent front office, they'll get it right. They'll understand the situation and what's at hand. That's all. Just be patient. Nothing more, nothing less. Just be patient, and we'll see where that goes. So now that should do it for Around the Hardwood. We're gonna take a commercial break. Probably an extended commercial break on this one. When we come back, we're gonna talk professional ball, NBA style, because the West looks good, even though OKC don't like what happened to them yesterday by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Golden State looks good. We're gonna talk about what Luka did to the Denver Nuggets, but in the East, what has happened to the Philadelphia 76ers and the New York Knicks? That's what's on my mind this week when it comes to the NBA. That was on my mind. I got to talk about it. I got to. So we'll be back.
Join the transporter to Hades.
Your butt and gut becomes one.
Join the reformer of hooker whores.
This is my daughter, Placenta Booty Johnson.
Join the bronze god.
Whenever you are in distress, take off your baseball cap and throw it in the air.
Join your very own superhero of broadcasting, Chris Bass.
So whatever color crayon they get, they palm it and do 2 circles, and that translates to, I can beat up black people.
As she takes you through the week's paces in Baseline. Live every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Central, Pacific time zone people, just stay asleep when this is on live and just catch the recording. Exclusively on the Chris Bass YouTube channel.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Into the Net FC. Kylian Mbappe just all of a sudden finally understood his role, and I think he finally understood that everything Kylian Mbappe has accomplished already, there is still a hell of a lot waiting for him in the future. Kylian Mbappe is only 24 years old. He has accomplished so much, and you know what? Kylian Mbappe has not even reached his prime. Finally seeing, the Marcus Rashford we have been hoping for such a long time, But, this game, after everything Manchester United has been, doing lately, this was actually the ultimate test, to see if Manchester United, honestly was all of a sudden for real. I explained this. The United States, maybe they have to suffer this loss as a lesson to learn to prepare for the future. Because 4 years from now, the World Cup is in not 1, not 2, but 3 countries. The United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Into the Net FC is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Sports fans are gearing up, whether it be for the madness of March, whether it be for the Super Bowl, or even a little thing called WrestleMania. You can get all that at Fanatics, where they have a wide selection of gear from every league, including the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, the NHL, the NCAA, and the WWE. So go on and show that pride, that passion, that dedication fan that you are by whipping your team, your league, or your favorite player. Fanatics, official license, everything.
Drew Willingham.
In this case, you put the blame on Kyle Shanahan for apparently not preparing the team enough for the overtime rules, supposedly.
Cole Johnson.
Peyton was considered the winner, and he was the darling of all darlings for Gerald.
With a special appearance by Tyrone Alizé McDummy.
Ain't nobody calling me,
Knicks. Delete! 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 Delete!
Join these two football enthusiasts as they give you Total Football Talk. Live every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central on the Sertoba Media and the Comey Media YouTube channels. This is a BS3 Network presentation.
I want to do a TED Talk, but I don't have anything to talk about yet. I'm getting there.
Life is for the living. We're not here that long.
You can learn anything you want to learn without any money spent.
What do I really enjoy? What do I really want out of life?
I am your host, WIZE.
Are you in a life holding pattern? Well, this is for you. Welcome to the Stuck in My Mind podcast. Live every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central. The Big Ten.
How would people on the campus of Ohio State University, how would they look at Ryan Day?
The SEC.
Until somebody can show me that they can beat Georgia outside of Alabama, I gotta roll with the Bulldogs.
The Big 12.
Mike Gundy, show me something. I picked you last year, okay?
The ACC.
I need Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers to show me that they are understanding what the mission is at hand.
And the Pac-12. Whoa. I'm sorry, the Pac-2. Join the Playmaker as he breaks down every single week all the hot college football games. Bearing down the gridiron on the Playmaker's Blog Network YouTube channel and where you can find podcasts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Showing the Lights Out here. Now let's get into the NBA because I got to figure some things out here because what's going on with certain teams in the NBA, especially in the East. But let's jump into it. All right, let's go ahead and begin with the New York Knicks. What is going on with the Knicks? Well, I think I know what's going on with the Knicks. It's the same story the last 2-3 seasons with the Knicks. They have a very, very short rotation thanks to Tom Thibodeau. And to begin the second half of the NBA season, they have gotten their ass handed to them by the Cleveland Cavaliers, who's the number one team in the East, and the Boston Celtics, who are the reigning defending NBA champions, who are the second team in the East. They scored 105 points in both games, but you gave a 142 to Cleveland. You gave a 118 to Boston. So you pretty much, you got blown out by 28 and you got beat by 13. The New York Knicks against the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics this season are 0-5. 0-5. They have not won one game against neither one of these two teams. They have 3 games remaining. They have 2 more games with Cleveland. I think it's home and away. And they have another game with the Boston Celtics. I believe is in Madison Square Garden, if I remember correctly. All 3 of these games is in April. 2 months. Well, a month and a half from now. I believe it's the 2nd, 8th, and 10th, if I remember correctly. So it's looking real dicey for Knicks fans here. And I don't know what to say, man. It's the rotation of the Knicks. That's the problem. You worry about injuries with the Knicks because you know Tom Thibodeau don't play that many guys. He just don't. I'm prove it to you. Look at this. Look at this. Here are the main players that get minutes from the New York Knicks. As you can see, you have Mikal Bridges at 37.9 minutes a game. You have Josh Hart at 37.8 minutes a game. OG Anunoby at 36 minutes per game. Karl-Anthony Towns gets 35 minutes a game. Jalen Brunson, 35 minutes per game. That's your starting 5 right there. Your starting 5 is literally averaging 35 minutes and up a game. You have 2 bench players that average 20 minutes a game. That is Miles McBride and Precious Achiuwa. And then you have Cameron Payne and Landry Shamet 14 and 11 per game. So you really have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that you literally play meaningful minutes for you if you're the New York Knicks fan. It is like Cameron Payne, Larry Shiny. Oh, y'all just get in. So Brunson and Josh Hart can get a quick breather or something like that. We talking a 48-minute game. In a 48-minute game, Miles Bridges gets barely 10 minutes of rest. Same for Josh Hart. And Anunoby gets 12 minutes. Jalen Brunson and Carlton Towns get 13 minutes of rest per game. In a 48-minute game. And Tom Thibodeau likes to play 9 guys if he wants to, and then playoff time you can cut Cameron Payne and probably Leo Sherman out of it. So you'd be playing with a 7-man rotation in playoffs if Tom Thibodeau likes to do it. This is not sustainable. But yeah, he still keeps doing it. So around the time April, May comes around, the Knicks gonna be tired. They're gonna be weary, and they're not gonna have the legs to make it to the NBA Finals. Let it know the Eastern Conference Finals, because you can't beat Cleveland or Boston. You got to face one of them two in the semifinals if you get that far. Not to mention, you took 2 out of 3 from the Indiana Pacers, but we all know what happened last year when you faced the Indiana Pacers in the playoff series. They beat you for 3. We don't even know what the Milwaukee Bucks going to look like once Giannis gets back, and then he actually gets to play with Dame Lillard and the new acquisition of Kyle Kuzma to that team, since they traded Chris Middleton to Washington and brought in Kyle Kuzma. So we don't even know. But the Knicks have the same old issue yet again. If Tom Thibodeau will add more bodies to his rotation, he can save his guys for the playoffs. But that's not what Tom Thibodeau does. And it's very unfortunate, by the way. Very, very unfortunate, because the Knicks, they have a good team. Now, they do kind of suck on the defense end. Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby have been supposed to be some stoppers, but you gave up 118 to Boston. You gave up 142 to Cleveland. So I don't know how that's looking. I really don't know how that's looking. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen moving forward with the New York Knicks. But man, this is terrible. Speaking of which, here's the standings for the Eastern Conference Finals from yesterday. New York Knicks is currently 3rd. So if they get past, if they're 3rd, they'll be facing my Orlando Magic. They might actually win that series, because for some reason we haven't been the same since we had them injuries, even though we do have Franz Wagner back and we have Paolo Banchero back. We do not have Mo Wagner. Bro Wagner's gone for the season with a torn ACL, unfortunately. But we haven't been, the Imagine team that we was at the beginning of the season. We just haven't. So it's gonna be interesting how that series would go if it stays this way with the Knicks and the Magic going at each other. Especially if the Magic can get past the play-in, because with the play-in where they at, we'll have to beat the Heat first to keep the 7th seed. Then the Heat has not been the same since they traded Jimmy Butler. The Heat are 3-7 their last 10 games, and they are 2-6 since they traded Jimmy Butler to Golden State. Maybe Miami got trying to figure some things out too. So we got 2 teams, both in Florida, by the way, who are trying to figure some things out. This is not the time to try to figure things out. You need to get on the road, because we're about to go in the month. When Saturday gets here, it is March. Literally, when Saturday gets here, it is the month of March. You need to be rolling when March gets here. Speaking of rolling, I got to shout out the Detroit Pistons. You see the Detroit Pistons, ladies and gentlemen, sitting in the 6th spot in the East, 32-26 on the season. They combined for 31 wins in the last 2 seasons. They have 32 right now. They are on a 7-game win streak, including the win they had last night. Cade Cunningham is looking like why he was the number 1 overall pick the year he came out. Shout out to Detroit, man. Detroit basketball. It's coming back. It's coming back. All them times that they drafted, it was going to come to fruition at some point. JB Brickenstyle, now the head coach over there, has the Pistons playing some good basketball. Very good basketball. If they keep this up, will they be seeing the Indiana Pacers in the first round as it currently sits? Here's the thing, though. They are only a game back from Milwaukee for the fourth spot. And we don't know what type of Milwaukee team we're going to get. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. Okay. That's the standings in the East, but we're not done with the East because there's a team on here who should be on here, but they're not on here because, let's just say, the process is a failure. The Philadelphia 76ers. Yep. I'm going fragrant foul on the Philadelphia 76ers. I got to. And it's just because the process is over, man. Philly fans are not pleased. People in Philly are thanking God that the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. And they can celebrate that because the Philadelphia 76ers, they are not helping whatsoever in the game of basketball. 20-37. They are sitting in the 12th spot in the East. They are 17 games below 500. They are the only good thing about Philly right now. They're the 16th. They are ranked 16th in the league, just below halfway in opponents' points per game. But outside of that, when you look at the offense, 26 in points per game at 108.9. 30th in rebounding, under 40, 39.3. 29th in assists per game at 22.9. They are 30 teams in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know. Rebounding, the Philadelphia 76ers are 30. They are dead last in rebounding. And they almost dead last in assists per game. What is going? You know what's going on? Before I tell you what's going on, look at this. This is their last 10 games. 1-9 in their last 10 games. The only win they got was against the Dallas Mavericks. They didn't have Luka at the time. This was before they traded Luka. You lost to Boston. You lost to Miami. You lost to Detroit. You lost to Milwaukee. You lost to Toronto. You lost to Brooklyn, to Boston again, Brooklyn again, and Chicago. We're going to talk about Chicago again because that took place last night, by the way. We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that. Best believe we're going to talk about that. 1-9 in your last 9 games. And speaking of last night, I said we were going to talk about it. 142-110 Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls at one point had a 50-point lead. Yes, 50-point lead Chicago Bulls had. That's what they had. They had a 50. Look at the third quarter. 40-18. They were outscored 40-18 in the third quarter. This is at Philly. That fan base is disgusted right now with the 76ers. And guess who didn't play? Joel Embiid didn't play. You can't make this stuff up. The fact that Joel Embiid didn't play still don't account for you to get your ass whooped by 32 by the Chicago Bulls. Who do the Chicago Bulls got? Zach LaVine's in Sacramento hanging out with DeMar DeRozan. So who do the Bulls got? How do the Bulls beat you this bad? They are only 3 games ahead of you. So how do they beat you this bad? You still got Tyrese Maxey, who played. You still got Paul George, who played, by the way. So I'm confused. Maybe y'all can help me. Because the 76ers literally got their ass drugged by the Chicago Bulls. And I'm saying here, like, who is on this team that's able to beat Philly like this, even without Joel Embiid? Just look at the Bulls roster. That's all due respect to the Bulls, because you're professional athletes. But I'm just saying, Kobe White, Alonzo Ball, Josh Giddey, Javon Carter, Jalen Smith, Nikola Vukovic, Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter. I ain't say nobody name that's a household name. Well, probably Josh Giddey for other reasons, but outside of that. So how did they beat y'all? They whooped y'all ass by 32. This team right here that I just looked at whooped your ass by 32. 32. And I know Paul George played because I seen the stats. I'm not going to go back to it. I know Tyrese Maxey played because he been the man of that been playing. Now, go to the box score of this game. Because this don't make no sense. It really don't. It don't. I need to see the box score again because 142 was given up by the Philadelphia 76ers, which is mind-blowing in any aspect since they've been having Joel Embiid as their franchise guy. So the Bulls' leading scorer was Josh Giddey with 25. Kevin Huerter had 23. Zach Collins gave you 19. Buzzless gave you 17. Terry Kim off the bench gave you 17. Kobe White gave you 15 off the bench, and Vucevic didn't even play. So not only the Bulls star didn't play, Philadelphia so Joel Embiid for the Sixers didn't play. Nikola Vucevic didn't play. So both big centers didn't start for both teams, and you still got beat by 32. What did Philly do? Paul George 19 points. Maxey gave you 13. Terrible shooting for Maxey. 3 for 10 for shooting. Jeez, Maxey had a terrible game. Aubrey Jr. gave you 19. This is astonishing ass whooping that the 76ers took. And why is this being a constant thing with the 76ers? Because yet again, Joel Embiid has to explore options for possibly, and it's more likely than ever, to have knee surgery yet again. We don't know when he's going to have knee surgery. They don't know when he's going to do it. Guess what? Joel Embiid has not been around for the 76ers this entire season. Pretty much. The 76ers are 20 and 37. They played 57 games. Joel Embiid played 19. In those 19 games, he's giving you 23.8 points per game, shooting 44% from the field, almost 30% from three-point range with 8 rebounds and damn near 5 assists. In 19 games. The man has almost missed 40 freaking games. He's at 38. He's at 38. Those of you want to do math. He missed 38 games already out of the 57. That's how many games he missed already. Consequently, guess who played 38 games? That would be Paul George, the offseason acquisition from the Los Angeles Clippers. He has played 38 games, which includes last night. 16 points a game, shooting 43% from the field, 35% from three-point range. 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The new star in Philly. Yes, I'm saying it right here, right now. The brand new star in Philly is Tyrese Maxey. It's no longer Joel Embiid. It is Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey has missed 8 games. He's played 49 games. 27 points per game. For almost 45% from the field. Almost 35% from three-point range. He's giving you 3 rebounds and 6 assists. Last night was terrible. He only gave you 13. 3 for 10 shooting. No rebounds, 2 assists. That was it. Not a good game for Tyrese Maxey. But in an 82-game series, you're going to have nights like that. But the main consistent guy has been Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid can't even go for any type of awards because he has already missed 38 games. And the way this season is going, he's on his way to miss 50, to be quite honest with you. Because what, you had 57 games, so you got another what? 25 games left. I can see Joel Embiid missing another 10 to 12 games at this rate, if not the rest of the 25 games that the 76ers have to play. Because he's not healthy. He's never healthy. He wasn't healthy last year in the playoffs, but he was trying to carry the Sixers as much as he can. He wasn't healthy when he was on Team USA for the Olympics, but he wanted to win that gold medal. He wanted to put that on his list, his bucket list, which he was able to get. And now we at this point where he's only played 19 games. The season started in October. November, December, January. We about to be in the end of the month of February. In 4 months, Joel Embiid has only played 19 games. What more can the Philadelphia 76ers do at this point? Everybody's been talking about it. Just shut Joel Embiid down for the season. Get him healthy for next season because this is an embarrassment. Go back. An embarrassment. 32-point loss at home to the Chicago Bulls. This is an embarrassment. So, yes, Philadelphia might need to think long and hard about shutting Joel Embiid down because the way this season is going, Philadelphia's going to miss the playoffs. And it's going to be a very disappointing and frustrating offseason for Philadelphia in basketball. Because this is not what they expected. And I want to tell you how I know. Here are their next games. Their next game is against the New York Knicks. And I'm pretty sure the New York Knicks, which is tomorrow, is going to come out and want to send a message. And they're going to use Philadelphia as the example. Then you have Golden State, one of the hottest teams in the Western Conference right now, coming to Philly. Then you got Portland coming in. That's going to be a toss-up. You got to go to Minnesota, who just came back and beat the Oklahoma City Thunder after being down 25 points with like 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Then you got to go to Boston. And Boston been tearing y'all ass up ever since the start of the season. And actually, they've been tearing y'all ass up for quite some time now. So they still might be tearing your ass up when March 6th gets here. Then you get a visit from Utah. Okay, you should win that one, even without Joel Embiid. Then you go to Atlanta. We don't know what Atlanta looks like, but you never know what Atlanta team you're going to get. Well, you already lost to Toronto, and you got to go up north to face Toronto. We'll see how that goes. The Pacers coming into town to Philly. And then you got to go to Dallas to see Kyrie Irving. Out of this next 10 stretch, you probably get 2, maybe 3 wins. Portland, Utah, maybe Atlanta. Because you don't know what Atlanta Hawks team you're going to get down in the 30 Bird, down in the 30 South. Portland, you don't know what type of team you're going to get from there either. And Utah is like a punching bag in the West. So maybe 3. Maybe you can go 3-7 in the next 10 because you're already 1-9. You're not beating New York. You're not beating Golden State. You're not beating Minnesota. You're not beating Boston. You're not beating Indiana. You might not beat Dallas as well. Just, oh my gosh. Somebody please help Philly out. Because Philly fans are suffering. They celebrating the Super Bowl, but man, they are suffering because they did not expect this type of season from their 76ers. They just didn't. They didn't expect it. But we're not done talking NBA. Let's go to the West Side. The West Side. Oklahoma City Thunder still reigning the top of the basketball West Conference, where 46-11 record. That includes the surprising loss that they took to the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. The Nuggets at number 2, Grizzlies 3, the Lakers at 4, the Houston Rockets 5, Clippers 6, Timberwolves 7. Mavs 8, Warriors 9, and the Kings are 10. The Warriors has been probably the hottest team in the Western Conference ever since that Butler trade. We said that Miami was 3-6. I mean 2-6 since the trade from Jimmy Butler. Since the Golden State acquired Jimmy Butler, they've been 5-1. It's been the opposite in Golden State. And Steph Curry around here dropping 30 burgers all of a sudden again, looking like the Splash Brother again. Different way to look at it. Shout out there. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the front runner for MVP, and rightfully so. This time he should win MVP, unless the Joker starts throwing out triple doubles left and right, and all of a sudden the Nuggets catch the Thunder for the top spot in the West. But right now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, front runner for MVP, and he should be 32.4 points per game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that is number one in the league. He is shooting 52.3% from the field, 36.4 from 3-point range, 89.2 from the free throw line. He's giving you 5 rebounds, 6 assists a game. He is second in steals at 1.9 a game, damn near 2 steals a game, and he gives you a block a game as well. That is your MVP. Even when they lost last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves, he damn near dropped 40. He damn near dropped 40 on Minnesota. If one for Anthony Edwards blocking his shot, he would have had 40. And one for Anthony Edwards blocking his shot, Minnesota would have lost that game after coming back from 25 down. So yes, Ant-Man did his thing last night when they needed to most to make sure they get that oppressive and very impressive overtime victory. And it was in OKC, by the way. So, but yeah, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 39 points. Well, yeah, 39 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. That's what he does. That man better win MVP. That man is too damn good not to win MVP. Joker, you can't get it this year. I'm sorry. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander better win MVP. I'm saying it right here today, the 25th of February. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, NBA most valuable player. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Speaking of, and then we go back to the Golden State Warriors. They've been on a mission ever since they got Jimmy Butler. It's been something to behold watching this team play. It's almost like everything that we said about this trade, we might have to take back, including myself. I said that I think Golden State gave up too much to get Jimmy Butler. I might be wrong as hell. These dudes only lost 1 game since Jimmy Butler been there. They played 6 games together. They 5-1. You're talking about them beating Dallas when they retired Andre Iguodala's jersey. They got the Charlotte Hornets coming in tonight. That should be a dub. Then they come out to Orlando to take on my Magic. That's on the 27th. That'll be on Thursday. There could be something in store. Then they go to Miami the following Tuesday to begin the month of March. That looks I take that back. They got Philly on the 1st of March. That's Saturday. A nice little 3-game stretch for the Golden State Warriors. You have Hornets, Magic, and 76ers to close out February and to begin March. And then you have the Hornets again on that following Monday on the 3rd of March. 76ers and the Golden State Warriors might go 4-0 in that darn stretch. It's quite possible they go 4-0 because I don't know what my Magic look like right now. I really don't. We still in playoff contention, but man, if we don't get it together, we gonna be in the play-in. Or we might not be in the play-in. Who knows? But Golden State is on the stretch. They can go 4-0 before they got to go to Madison Square Garden on the 4th to take on the New York Knicks. If they keep this up, I'll be on this program and apologize for what I said. Because Miami looks terrible and Golden State is on fire. They on fire. Legit on fire. Man, I got to give it up to them. So far, so good, Golden State. But still got a lot of games left to be played. We'll see how it finishes. But Jimmy Butler looks good. Steph Curry looks revitalized. And Draymond Green's having a ball just passing the ball to both of them. That's all Draymond Green wants to do. I'll throw the ball to Jimmy. I'll throw the ball to Steph. I don't care. As long as we win, we good. I can't fault Draymond Green for feeling that way. Golden State, Steve Kerr, y'all got something going on, and I ain't going to front. But ain't the only thing left in the West. Holy hell. What Luka Doncic did to the Denver Nuggets in Denver on Sunday. Was it Sunday or Saturday? Make sure. I want to say that was Saturday. I think that was a Saturday. I think that was a Saturday primetime game. Yeah, Saturday. Good gracious. 32 points, 10 from 22 from the field, 4 from 9 from 3-point range, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, and 4 steals. If that is the way that the Lakers are going to play, and Luka's going to be the one controlling the offense, and LeBron is not doing the controlling most of the game, everybody in Dallas will be crying their asses off yet again. They was already crying when they first heard the news that the trade happened, and they've been booing Nico Harris and the front office of Dallas ever since. If the Lakers keep this up, they're gonna be crying again. Because good gracious. If that's how they're gonna play, the West is in trouble. Because that means LeBron can save himself for the fourth quarter if he wants to. And LeBron can save himself for the fourth quarter, and we know what LeBron does. LeBron likes to take over. So does Luka. But if Luka gets it started and LeBron finishes, the Lakers are going to be a very, very dangerous team in the West. They're already sitting fourth. They are already sitting fourth at 34-21. They are only 2.5 games back from the Denver Nuggets, who they just beat Saturday for the second spot. And they got the Dallas Mavericks tonight, in which everybody's looking forward to Luka sticking his finger in Nico Harris' face figuratively. He might do it physically too. But giving Nico Harris the proverbial middle finger tonight at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Is that game televised? That game is on TNT, True TV, and Max, 10 p.m. tonight. So who's the opener before that? The opener is the Cavaliers and the Magic. Oh boy. The number one team in the NBA going against the Magic tonight. Yeah, I might not like it, but I'm gonna have to watch that game, unfortunately. Because it is my Magic. We're hosting the Cavaliers. We'll see if we can do something. But back to the Lakers. What? That trade will be forever talked about if Luka Doncic messes around along with LeBron James and they win an NBA title within the next 2, maybe 3 years. Because at this rate, if Luka gonna be the one controlling offense, LeBron might stay an extra year or 2 now. Because he don't have to carry the team no more. Luka's only what, 25? 26? The man in his mid-20s. That man still got plenty of years to play. LeBron can take a break while being on the court. So, man, y'all better, if you out there in the West, you better be careful because Luka and the Lakers might be a goddamn problem coming up. Just might be a problem. So, all right, we're going to take another break here. When we come back, let's dive into college, starting with the men.
Welcome to Ringside Chaos. The thing with Tony Khan now being in talks to buy WWE, I'm going to be honest with you. I spoke to this with Ricky Litwinkowicz, a.k.a. the Master of Mayhem, and he honestly believes that me talking about Tony Khan buying WWE is basically I'm kind of wasting my time because Ricky believes it's never going to happen. Okay. Now, a wrestling fan that's been super supportive of Brody Lee as a wrestler and everything that WWE could have done with him and, everything that he could have shown and, offered for the wrestling business. For me, I wasn't just a fan of Brody Lee himself, like in character. I strongly respected him, as a human being. Like, I had a lot of respect for Jonathan Huber. That's Mr. Brody Lee's real name. So basically, I had a lot of respect for Brody Lee, Luke Harper, and of course, Mr. Jonathan Huber. Ladies and gentlemen, Ringside Chaos is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
WWE Shop is your online source for all things WWE. Be a part of the excitement and score wrestling gear for big events like WrestleMania or SummerSlam. From current superstars to legends, from Raw to SmackDown to NXT. Don't miss this chance to shop for the most awesome WWE merch. Shop for the best deals as well as WWE gift cards and save big on your favorite items. WWE Shop at Fanatics Experience.
Cool McCain.
You thought you wanted Gunther against Chad Gable, but you didn't. And I'm going to tell you why. Chad Gable would take everything that Gunther's done and bury it.
The Playmaker.
It was on site. AJ Styles walked out there, seen LA Knight. Oh, okay. And then LA Knight hopped out the car. Let's go.
Break down everything in TNA, AEW, and all of the WWE programming. Join these two kings, monarchs of wrestling, live every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Central on the Play Caller Sports Talk YouTube channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're going to pivot. We're not going to talk men's college basketball right now. Breaking news that I just finally seen. Diana Taurasi retires from the WNBA in the game of basketball. I probably should have saw this coming. I probably should have, but I didn't. Diana Taurasi is hanging it up. She is the leading scorer in WNBA history. She's been voted the greatest of all time by Leeds fans. After 20 seasons in the WNBA, she is hanging away. Diana Taurasi is stepping away from the game of basketball as one of the most decorated players in women's basketball history. From her time at UConn in 2000 to her entire career at Phoenix with the Mercury. What can be said that has not been said for Diana Taurasi? I mean, we talking what? A 2-3-time national champion under Gina Auriemma? We're talking what? A 5-time WNBA scoring champion, a 14-time All WNBA selection, WNBA MVP in 2009, Finals MVP in 2009 and 14, the WNBA leader in 3 points made at 1,447 in a regular season and 215 in the playoffs. A multiple-time WNBA champion. What can be said for Diana Taurasi in the career that she had? Most definitely we be going into the Basketball Hall of Fame with no shadow of a doubt. First ballot, by the way. It better be on the first ballot. I know I'm one who would like to say that Maya Moore is my GOAT, but I would not deny anybody who was saying that Diana Taurasi is their GOAT. Kathy Engelberg, the commissioner of the NBA, said this, quote, one of the greatest competitors to ever play the game of basketball on any stage. In a record-setting career that saw her play 20 seasons, scoring more points and make more three-point shots than any player in WNBA history. She has earned the unquestionable respect of players around the globe, delivered electrifying moments and captivated fans over and over again. On behalf of the WNBA family, I thank Diana for everything that she has brought to the WNBA, her passion, her charisma, and most of all, her relentless dedication to the game. Close quote. That is from Kathy Engelberg, the commissioner of the WNBA. Now, I'm pretty sure Sue Bird has something to say because that's her girl. Speaking, and yes, this is what Sue Bird had to say. Oh, no, take that back. Sue Bird didn't say nothing, but we know that Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi came in UConn together, which started the UConn dynasty, by the way, that lasted forever. And it might be on their way back to the way that UConn looking right now. But, man, what she has done has been amazing. Her former head coach, who helped bring those titles to Phoenix Mercury, who's now another champion with the New York Liberty now, Coach Cindy Brondello, said this about Diana Taurasi, saying, quote, "She knows when she needs to take over. She knows when she needs to get others involved. She knows when she just needs to whisper in their ear to get them going. When you see it up close and personal, you realize just the effect she has on her teammates, and they look up to her," close quote. She won the champion with Diana Taurasi over at Phoenix before she came over to New York and won the championship. I mean, her resume is uncomparable. Who do you compare Diana Taurasi's resume to anybody else that played in women's basketball? I'm not talking GOAT. I'm just saying, if you look at Diana Taurasi's resume, who is comparable to the resume that she put forward display from her time at UConn all the way through her WNBA career? I didn't even mention she has won 6 gold medals for Team USA in the Olympics. 6. This past Olympics up in Paris, France was the 6th straight. So she has had a hell of a career, man. You can't argue the career that Diana Taurasi had. You just can't. If you try to, you sound stupid. When you watch Diana Taurasi play basketball, you can't argue against it. You just can't. So, hell of a career for Diana Taurasi. Appreciate what you have done for the game of basketball and for women's basketball. You played at a high level at UConn. You played at a high level at Phoenix. You played at a high level for Team USA. No matter what it was, the goal for you was always the same. It was about winning, and you did a lot of winning throughout your career in basketball. That's one thing nobody could ever take away from you. You won at the game of basketball just about as much as anybody else could ever imagine winning at the game of basketball. So thank you for being such a great steward of the game, a great ambassador of the game, and look forward to seeing you put in the Basketball Hall of Fame when that time comes as a first ballot Hall of Famer, should I say? Which is literally like the only next step for her is to go in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Diana Taurasi, on a 20-year career. And let's see what's next for you, because you have a spot. I figure somewhere you'll be in media some type of way, on television some type of way, talking the game of basketball, because you can talk the game of basketball too. But yes, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Diana Taurasi retiring from the WNBA in the game of basketball after a 20-year career in the WNBA, all with the Phoenix Mercury. Quick commercial break.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Into the Net FC. Kylian Mbappe just all of a sudden finally understood his role, and I think he finally understood that everything Kylian Mbappe has accomplished already, there is still a hell of a lot waiting for him in the future. Kylian Mbappe is only 24 years old. He has accomplished so much, and you know what? Kylian Mbappe has not even reached his prime. Finally seeing, the Marcus Rashford we have been hoping for such a long time, But, this game, after everything Manchester United has been, doing lately, this was actually the ultimate test, to see if Manchester United, honestly was all of a sudden for real. I explained this. The United States, maybe they have to suffer this loss as a lesson to learn to prepare for the future. Because 4 years from now, the World Cup is in not 1, not 2, but 3 countries. The United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. Into the Net FC is available on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music.
All right, quick commercial break there. Because that was the breaking news. I had to make sure I talk about Diana Taurasi. I didn't want to wait too long. When I saw that news finally popped up on my phone, I had to go right into it. Before I continue on, shout out to Alex Agazar, the Bear Man of Texas, who is in charge of the Internet FC commercial that you saw for the second time this episode. The reason why I did that because I want to give him his flowers too, as starting right now. The Playmakers Blog Network has stepped into the world of soccer, Major League Soccer MLS, and Alex Alcazar, he is part of the media team for me that is covering FC Dallas in person. So big step for us into the game of soccer. Yeah, he's a big soccer fan. He loves soccer. And this is a step that was needed to be made for us to continue to grow our reach here at the Playmakers Blog. So Alex, congratulations. And can't wait to see the articles and the episodes that you put out there when it comes to FC Dallas for this season's MLS season, which got off to a good start. They got a 2-1 win in Houston. So they started the season off 1-0. So I want to give him that. Now, let's get back to it. Now let's get into the men's college game. I'm still going to talk men's college game. Got to. Let's go back to the weekend that was. Saturday, February 22nd. Alabama handled business against Kentucky in a top 20 matchup in the SEC, 196-83. Houston, they held off a pesky and a feisty Iowa State team in the top 10 matchup in the Big 12. And then Tennessee went on the road to Texas A&M, getting a 77-69 win at College Station in a top 10 SEC matchup. Let's break it down, shall we? Alabama's big win over Kentucky, led by Mark Shears from Alabama, 30 points, 8 from 17 from the field, 11 for 11 from the free throw line with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Kentucky found themselves without 2 of their top players and then their third player because he fouled out. And it was a game where Kentucky just they'll come back, and then they get pushed back 2 steps. They'll make another good run and get pushed back again. They just never fully caught Alabama. They just could never fully catch them. So that's why Alabama got they got a much needed win at home too after losing to Auburn in the Iron Bowl. But a much needed win for them, especially against a ranked Kentucky team at that. Mark Shields 30 points. Now back-to-back 30-point games for Mark Shields. Usually you don't see that in Alabama, but Mark Shields, he's becoming a scoring threat for Alabama like he was last year. He's starting to pick it up in the scoring department, and that could be vital for a team that was in the Final Four last season. All right. Houston. Iowa State made their comeback. They was down 12 at halftime. They made a furious comeback. And LJ Cryer took over for Houston. 28 points, 11 to 17 from the field, 5 to 7 for 3-point race with 5 rebounds. I believe he scored, 15 or 16, maybe 18 points came in the second half for LJ Cryer. When they needed to get back in front and put a distance between themselves and the Cyclones, LJ Cryer was the guy to do it for the Houston Cougars in a much needed way. So that was a big win for Houston. Because Iowa State, they was coming back. They was fighting. Oh, they would not go away. LJ Cryer made sure that, hey, since y'all don't want to go away, we're going to have to put y'all away. And then LJ Cryer helped put the Cyclones away in this big old matchup here. But ain't the only time we're going to talk Houston. We'll talk Houston more later on in the segment. Chaz Lanier for Tennessee, 30 points on the road at A&M. 30 points, 10 from 18 from the field, 8 3-pointers with 5 rebounds. 24 of the 30 points came from the 3-point line. And then when you have one guy who can shoot the ball like that, it makes it easier to win games on the road, which it was for the Tennessee Volunteers. Big win on the road, big win over Buzz Williams and the Aggies. Man, the SEC, man. You just saw a top 15 matchup and a top 10 matchup, both in the same conference on Saturday. That's what it was. But we did have upsets. And good gracious, these upsets was something special. Oregon, 77-73 over 11-ranked Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin, by the way. By the way, the Ducks came back from down 17 in the second half to force overtime, and then they took over overtime. What a comeback victory for the Oregon Ducks. Nate Biller, for the Oregon Ducks. 23 points, 9 for 17 from the field with 6 rebounds to lead the way for the Ducks' comeback victory over Wisconsin, surprisingly. He also had the Arkansas Razorbacks upset 15-ranked Missouri on Saturday. Zavonmir Aziska for the Arkansas Razorbacks, 20 points, 6 for 8 from the field, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He was getting it done on both ends. He got you points, and he got you defensively with steals and blocks. Can't be mad at that. Definitely can't. BYU, who has been on a tear as of lately with upsets, they pulled off another one, as we talked about earlier, with the fan chant that was not acceptable at Arizona. 96-95 win in Tucson, Arizona. Richie Saunders from BYU, 23 points, 8 for 10 from the field, 3 from 4 from three-point range to lead the way for the Cougars in the win of the Wildcats. Let's head back to the SEC where the Oklahoma Sooners upset 21st ranked Mississippi State Bulldogs 93-87. Jeremiah Fears of Oklahoma, 27 points, 7 for 12 on the field, 11 for 14 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, and 10 assists to lead the Sooners in a big, much needed win for their resume to try to get themselves in the NCAA tournament. And then finally, Vanderbilt did it again. 24th ranked Ole Miss goes down in Nashville, 77-72. Chris Minor, 16 points, 4 from 5 from the field, 2 for 2 from three-point range, 6 from 8 from the field. Gave you 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 3 blocks. It was more defensive end for Chris because 4 steals, that's 4 possessions away from Ole Miss, and 3 blocks. 3 scoring chances taken away from Ole Miss. Man, when you can do it offensively and defensively, you make yourself a very, very dangerous player in the game of basketball. College, professional, high school, don't matter. And this is what Chris did for Vanderbilt in that one, get another upset win. Vanderbilt has about 6 quad one wins right now. They have stacked up quad one wins. I'm telling you, Vanderbilt might be a lot for the NCAA tournament. That's the simple fact that they have so many quad one wins. It is ridiculous. They've beaten Kentucky. They have beaten Tennessee. They have beaten Ole Miss. Have they beaten Florida? Who are we lost to? I know we lost to our first loss came against. I think it did come against Vanderbilt. No, our first loss came against Missouri. Because after we beat Tennessee, we lost to Missouri. Tennessee got us back. No, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Missouri. Those are 3 losses. So no, Vanderbilt did not beat us yet. Good. But that was Saturday's action. Okay. And from Saturday's action, we had a game yesterday. We had a top 10 Big 12 game between Houston and Texas Tech down a little bit. Texas and Houston. Very good win for the Houston Cougars, man. Milo's Uzain, 22 points, 8 for 15 from the field, 3 for 4 from three-point range to help get a big-time road win for the Houston Cougars in Lubbock, Texas. That was not an easy place to win at. Texas Tech had their chances. They had to lead at one point, gave it back up. They came back, made it within, I think, 1 point, and then Houston took it. And then Uzain just took over to make sure that we don't need a loss. And matter of fact, Houston avenged their only Big 12 loss because it was Texas Tech who went down in Houston earlier and beat Houston. So turnabout's fair play. You beat us in our crib, we come to your crib and beat you. And when we beat you, it's actually more meaningful. So that's how Houston feels. So congratulations to Houston. Get 2 big-time wins. 2 big-time wins, which is a much-needed win for them guys. And with that result from yesterday, here is your standings in the conference. For the Atlantic Coast Conference, Duke is 15-1, followed by Louisville 14-2, and Clemson 14-2. So no matter how that goes, those 3 teams, they'll be getting a bye in the ACC tournament. It was just who will be the number 1 overall seed. Currently, Duke is the clear-cut favorite in that one. And I haven't seen one team that can actually compete with Duke outside of Clemson, because Clemson is the only team that beat Duke. That was the return of Biggie V. So if that was to me again, I think I like Duke chances. All right. UNC is still hanging around at 11-6. SMU first year in the ACC 11-5. Wake Forest is playing some good ball. Outside of that, it's been troublesome. I mean, from Stanford all the way down to I don't like how none of these teams are. Just terrible. In Miami, 2-14, which is just abysmal from how we used to watch Miami in the past 3-4 years. In the Big 12, obviously Houston is the clear-cut team in the Big 12, 16-1 in conference play. As we just talking about avenging the loss to Texas A&M last night. Arizona 12-4, Texas Tech 12-5, Iowa State 11-5, BYU, who's now ranked in the top 25 at 10-6, Kansas. It's been a rough season for Bill Self and the Kansas Jayhawks, but man, you're still going to do enough to get into a tournament, but we just don't know how effective you're going to be in a tournament. Good gracious. Lost to BYU, destroyed by Houston. Utah beat you. You've been taking L's. Like, Kansas has taken L's this season that you normally don't see them taking. So it's going to be interesting. Can Bill Self get that team together in time for the Big 12 tournament and for the NCAA tournament? Speaking of teams we not used to seeing in certain positions, let's go to the Big East. St. John's, the 7th-ranked Red Storm, 15-2 on the season. Rick Pitino is showing you that he can coach. He can coach basketball. Put some respect on Rick Pitino's name. You got Creighton at 12-4, Marquette, who's ranked 21. Marquette, Shaka Smart, I don't know what's going on up in Marquette right now. Or so I say Milwaukee to be actually accurate. 11-5 is still good. 20-7, okay. And then you see the 2-time back-to-back champions, the UConn Huskies. You see no number by their name. 10-6 in the Big East. 18-9 overall. Something you're not used to seeing when it comes to UConn. But here we are, the back-to-back champions. Struggling. They have the resume to get in. They have the resume. It's UConn. But struggling. Destroyed by St. John's in their last game. Just destroyed. I think, if I remember correctly, I think Villanova caught them once. I think Seton Hall might have caught them once. It's been an interesting year for Dan Hurley and his return to UConn. Trying to go for a three-peat, but the way UConn looks, that three-peat looks like more on the downward spiral, like the Kansas City Chiefs were, than actually happening. From the Big East to the Big Ten. As we go to the Big Ten, Michigan State is on top, 13-3, along with Michigan State. Michigan State has the top spot because they beat Michigan just recently. I think sometime last week they beat Michigan. And that game was in Michigan, by the way. You see Maryland, Wisconsin, all both at 11-5. UCLA 11-6. Purdue 11-6. And then you have everybody else: Illinois, Oregon, Indiana. Illinois, they have some work to do. Oregon might get in. Oregon might sneak their way in. We don't know yet, but they just might sneak their way in. Okay. And depending on how the week goes, if I can do a show on Friday, I will do a show Friday and go into who's on the bubble line from Jordan Anati's bracketology to show you who is on the bubble line, who needs to have a big weekend this weekend coming up, and probably the next week following that before they get into conference tournament play. But Oregon might be on that bubble line. They might be on the in line. Illinois might be on the outline because of resume. And then the SEC, which has been the best conference in basketball this year to it. Pretty much everybody's surprised because I don't think a lot of people seen this many teams in the SEC being this damn good. Of course, Auburn's number one, 13-1. Everybody else has lost literally 3 games in conference play. Florida right there. Like I said, our losses came to Kentucky, Missouri, and Tennessee. Alabama's 11-3. We will be seeing Alabama I believe next week. That should be interesting. And Alabama will be seeing Auburn again, this time in Auburn. Tennessee 9-5, Texas A&M 9-5, Missouri 9-5. Those three teams, they have spots in the NCAA tournament. All of them have won 20 games or more. Ole Miss 8-6. They might be on the bubble watch as well. Kentucky right now is probably good because they beat Florida. They swept Tennessee. So they have caught one wins that might help them get in as a lock. But they are flirting with danger, as well as Mississippi State. They are flirting with danger as well. And then Vanderbilt, I told you, they got like five caught one wins already. The Commodores do. So I don't know where they at, but I'm looking forward to seeing where they at in Joe Lunardi's bracketology. Because they got a lot of good wins. This is ridiculous out of them 18 wins that Vanderbilt has, at least 5 to 6 of them came against ranked teams. I guarantee you that. So we'll see about that. Outside of that, Arkansas is on the outside looking in, Texas on the outside looking in, Georgia on the outside looking in, Oklahoma on the outside looking in, and LSU and South Carolina have no chance. They're like the only two teams that are definitely out. Is these two at the bottom, LSU and South Carolina. But outside of that, the other 14 teams, they all fight for a spot or are lost to get it already. So the SEC could have 14 to 13 teams in the tournament, which is be ridiculous. Very, very, very ridiculous at this moment in time. But hey, we still got 2 weeks to go. So we still got a lot of games to be played and figure out how everything's going to shake out. Speaking of which, tonight, speaking of Alabama, they are hosting 24th ranked Mississippi State. A win by Mississippi State will help their resume. And Alabama, if they want to keep in contact with the Auburns of the world, the Floridas of the world, defend home court. Defend home court and handle business against Mississippi State Bulldogs. That's tonight. 9 p.m. ESPN2. And then tomorrow's going to be fun. On the Big Ten Network at 6:30, Michigan State, my bad. Tom Izzo taking his boys to Maryland to take on 16-ranked Maryland Terrapins. At 7 p.m. on ESPN2, Ole Miss takes a trip to the jungle to take on the number 1 team in the nation and the Auburn Tigers. Also at 7 on the SEC Network, Vanderbilt heads to College Station to take on 12th ranked Aggies of Texas A&M. And then after that game on SEC Network at 9 p.m., the aforementioned Kentucky Wildcats, they are in Norman, Oklahoma to take on a scrappy Oklahoma team who is trying to make their way into the NCAA tournament. All right. That would do it for the men's portion of college basketball, but we're not done yet. One more segment to go, and it's about the ladies. Oh, you should have known at some point I was going to end with the ladies because the ladies been on one. So one more segment to go. Women's basketball on the college side, and we can call it a day.
Everything Boston. I love you morons. New Kids on the Block, New Edition.
Dear whatever the law firm is. Sincerely, the U.S. Supreme Court.
Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Go yourself again, Jason Whitlock.
In a world where chronicles of the past are brought to the streams, whether the content is relatable or completely beyond your realm of life, there is no shadow of a doubt that this show is absolutely full of shenanigans. Get ready for
D. Willie in the evening.
This Sunday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern.
Exclusively on Sartoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
Shop hats and official sports gear at Liz. Liz is the leader and number 1 destination for hats, gears, and everything that moves you, making it the perfect shop for fans to find official sports hats, merchandise, and gear. Represent your team, your town, and your style with a snapback adjustable fitted hat or beanie. from thousands of college and pro teams. Browse the very latest sports jerseys and t-shirts from the best teams out there. Lids has officially licensed professional and college sport team apparel and hats featuring the hottest brands and trends. Shop online or visit one of the 100 stores across the country.
All right, welcome back, and let's get to our final segment of the day in this women's basketball. Let's close it out the right way with the ladies, all right? And going back to the weekend, that was in the ladies' game. Whew. ESPN triple header, every game worth watching, every single one. Every single one from NC State and Notre Dame, North Carolina, Louisville, Kentucky, LSU. All three games on ESPN, worth watching. Then you did have a game on ESPN2 between TCU and West Virginia that took place. And then Juju Watkins was on FS1 as he took on Illinois. Let's break it down, shall we? Another spotlight game of the week where College Game Day was in Raleigh, North Carolina, as L. Duncan, Adria Carter, and Chanel Gumake were in Raleigh for the big ACC match between the number one team in the land, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, against the 13th ranked NC State Wolfpack, and in double overtime, the Wolfpack took down the Fighting Irish 104-95. Zaya Brooks, 33 points, a career high, by the way. She went 10 for 10 from the free throw line, and she grabbed 10 rebounds. By the way, the Wolfpack went, if I remember correctly, the Wolfpack went 21 for 23 from the free throw line. We're talking about a Wolfpack team that's, on average, a 69% team from the free throw line. That was like 300 and something in the nation because they talked about it. And they didn't miss their free throw to the very end of the game in double overtime when the game was in hand. A remarkable performance from the charity stripe by the Wolfpack, who are not known for hitting their free throws. But to hit over 20 free throws against the number one team in the country, you gotta give them credit. Now, Notre Dame, bad shot selection. Hannah Hidalgo did not have a great game. She scored 16 points, but she was very inefficient. Olivia Miles had bad shot selection. I think she was in double figures as well. Bad shot selection. And she had some careless turnover that you don't see from Olivia Miles. So even though Notre Dame and probably some Notre Dame fans out there feel like the refs probably helped NC State out, but when you have bad shot selections, when you have careless turnover and you are aggressively fouling for no reason, that's how you get upset as the number one team in the country, especially on the road. And that's what happened to Notre Dame. Notre Dame got to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, we need to play better. We didn't take great shots. We didn't take care of the basketball. And we put them at the free throw line way too much. And they came out and hit damn near all their free throws, which was not expected. So Notre Dame need to pick themselves up, and you congratulate NC State for having a hell of a performance with the number one team in their building to pull up this big win for their program, and pretty much locks them in the NCAA tournament. That's how Sunday started. While that game was going on ESPN2, TCU beat the brakes off West Virginia. You should have known what was coming when the first quarter ended at 20-9. You should have seen what was coming from that point forward. Haley Van Lith. Haven't heard that name in a while, haven't you? She's been quietly balling her ass off with the Horned Frogs. 26 points, 8 for 12 from the field, 3 for 5 from three-point range, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. TCU is 26-3, and nobody's really talking about TCU. You talk about the South Carolinas of the world, the Notre Dames of the world, the LSUs of the world. You talk about the UConns of the world. Ain't nobody talking about TCU, and Haley Van Lith is quietly in Texas balling her ass off, and that Horned Frog team is making people notice now. Y'all might want to pay attention to Texas because TCU ain't done. TCU is up there with Texas as well, okay? Shout out to Haley Vinlet. Shout out to the Horned Frogs. They are balling. Oh, man. That Big 12 tournament going to be something serious. Let's go to the ACC where North Carolina fought back from a 12-point deficit to beat Louisville 79-75. If Louisville would have caught this dub, I guarantee you there would have been a lot for the NCAA tournament because they've been knocking off ranked teams. I said it when they come to Tallahassee to play Florida State. I say Florida State, don't you overlook Louisville. Guess what happened? Louisville caught them in Tallahassee. When they went to Cameron Indoor to take on Duke, I said, Coach Lawson, don't think because they don't got those star names that they can't beat you. What happened? They went to Cameron Indoors and they knocked off Duke. Florida State was ranked 25th at the time. Duke was ranked 11th at the time. That's 2 big time wins. If they would have captured number 9, and they had every opportunity to do so, oh, that would have been a lot for the tournament. They might be a lot right now still, but it would have been for sure click lock for the tournament if they would have knocked off number 9 North Carolina, but they didn't. They blew a 12-point lead. Now, Lita Grant and Treyana Crisp, 19 points each to help lead the comeback for the Tar Heels to not get upset. And Louisville, Kentucky. So good win for the Lady Tar Heels. Good job. Then we go to the final of the triple header of ESPN. LSU, there was in Lexington, Kentucky to take on the Wildcats. Georgia Amore, her final game, as she's a senior, and her final game was at Rupp Arena, hosting the LSU Tigers. Back and forth until that third quarter. When that third quarter hit, LSU took it to another level. I mean, as you can see, as you're looking at it, Kentucky took a double-digit lead at halftime. And then, I don't know what Kim Mulkey said at halftime. Or maybe it'd been Flajay Johnson or Nisa Morrow or McKilla Wynn. I don't know. But somebody with a big personality said something at halftime, and they came out 23-6. Just like that. And Kentucky had nothing else to offer against LSU. That's why he said a 7-point win, 65-58. Michaela Williams, 24 points, 5 rebounds. Flajay Johnson and Anissa Monroe both had double-doubles. Told you, them three are special for LSU. Them 3 right there. If they can get anybody else to help them out, it can be a revolving door, whoever that 4th person is on LSU. They can go to the Final Four and possibly the national championship. Because with them 3 right there, with Flajay Johnson, Anissa Monroe, and Michaela Williams, they can hang with anybody. They just need some extra help. That's all. Just somebody give us 10 points. Okay? Somebody just give us 10 points. That's it. Because you're gonna get close to 60, maybe 70 from them 3 by them damn self. That's how great them 3 is. Somebody just add a little 10 points here. Maybe give us a couple of defensive rebounds or some blocks here or a couple of steals there. LSU will make a deep run into the NCAA tournament. That's what they'll do. But can a 4th person emerge for the LSU Tigers? That's what Kim Mulkey needs right now. That's what she needs. And then finally, while I was flipping back and forth, but I kept my main focus on this game because it was Juju Watson. 4th ranked Trojans hosting 25th ranked Fighting Illini from Illinois. 10-point win for the Trojans. Kiki Arifant, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks. Juju Watkins, 22 points, 10 for 10 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks. If y'all remember last week, I said Juju Watkins is my favorite player, even though she played for the team I can't stand the most. And yes, I still can't stand the USC Trojans, but Juju Watkins is my favorite basketball player. And it was more evident on Sunday. Why is that? This is the look she had. And if y'all seen my post on Facebook, this is why I love it. 22, let me see. 22, 5, 3, and 4. And that's the look she had. She had a displeased face on her. She had a displeasure about her game. Even though Trojans won by 10. They won by double digits. And she was not pleased. She was 6 for 16 from the field shooting. 10 for 10 from the free throw line. So Damn near half her points came from the trading strike. That's not, and she was not pleased. Yeah, we got a dub. But she wants better. She wants efficiency. When she steps on the court, she expects to be, you know how efficient she was against UCLA, right? She expects that every game. And I love that for her. I love it. Yeah, 22 points. That's pretty good. Yeah, but I went 6 for 16 from the field. I missed 10 shots. That's not good. Yeah, I went 10 for 10 from the free throw line, but yet I need to be more efficient on the floor. Yeah, I had 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and 4 blocks, but you know, that was not my best game. I can be better than that, and I love that. This is why she's my favorite basketball player, men and women. She is my favorite basketball player in this generation. All right, WNBA, y'all got one more year. You hear me, WNBA? Y'all got one more year. Because next year, she's a junior. And best believe, if things go the way they're supposed to go, she's coming out after her junior year. And she will be making her way to the WNBA. And it's going to be on and popping from there. I love Angel Reese. I'm good with Caitlin Clark. But when she comes to the WNBA, that's when it really going to go up. It's already going up thanks to Caitlin Clark. Let's call it spade to spade. Let's keep it a buck. What Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA, you cannot deny whatsoever. But when this young lady gets to the WNBA, oh yeah, it's gonna be on and popping. Oh, and I can't wait. I'm looking forward to what team she go to because I will be locked and loaded watching her ball. She is giving me that Kobe mentality, that Mamba mentality. That's the mentality she is giving me. 22, 5, 3, and 4. And this is the face that you have after the game. Because you're not happy with how you played. Oh, yeah. When she comes, it's on. Oh, it is on. I can't wait. But she still got at least one more year in college before she can be eligible for the WNBA draft. So, looking forward to it. And speaking of which, yeah, who's going to take the Wooden Award from her this year? That's all I want to know. Because I don't see nobody taking the Wooden Award from her this year. 25.8 points per game. And this is her versus ranked opponents, by the way. They have played 9 ranked games. USC has. And this is what she has done against their ranked opponents. 25.8 points per game. Shooting close to 41% from the field. 31.5 from three-point range. 82% from free throw line. Giving you almost 8 rebounds a game. 4 assists. 2 steals. And 3 blocks. And the USC Trojans are at 8-1 in those games. The only game they lost was Notre Dame. And that was back in December. Maybe November. Only part of the season, I know that much. So who's going to take the Wooden Award away from her? Because when we go rank versus rank matchup, ain't nobody touching Juju Watkins when it comes to statistics when it rank versus rank. Hannah Hidalgo only scored 16 points against NC State, but let's talk about it. When the competition rises, Juju Watkins shows up. Remember, she dropped 30. She dropped 38, 10, 7, and 4 against UCLA. And 8. I forgot about the 8 blocks. 38 points, like 10 rebounds, like 6 assists, 3 steals, and 8 blocks. And that was the number 1 team in the nation at that moment in time. In UCLA, by the way. Y'all better be ready. Because Juju, man, when Juju gets to WNBA, I can't wait. But right now, I'm going to enjoy her in college. I'm going to enjoy these college years that she has. Because, man, she is great. She is a must watch. She is box office. All right. That's all I'm going to say on Juju. I'll visit Juju probably next time I do a show again. But we did have a game yesterday in the Big 12. 17-ranked Baylor went to Manhattan, Kansas, and knocked off 14-ranked Kansas State 79-62. And Kansas State, they couldn't do nothing with Baylor. They just couldn't do nothing with Baylor. Aaronette Vanier for Baylor, 24 points, 10 for 15 from the field, 12 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks. The Wildcats had no answers for the Lady Bears, and it was proven from the top all the way through the end. It was just one of those games. So shout out to the Lady Bears on getting that big-time win on the road and a big-time matchup. Now to close it out, let's get to the ladies standings here. The ACC standings, Notre Dame still number 1, 15-3. NC State's right behind them at 14-2, followed by North Carolina 13-3. You see Louisville there. You see Florida State there. You see Duke all at 12-4. Cal, surprisingly, the Cal Lady Bears are playing some good basketball. 10-6 in conference play, 22-7 in the overall. Georgia Tech, they can sneak their way in, 21 overall, 9-7 in ACC play. And then from there, I don't see nobody else. Virginia Tech may have a chance, but I don't like their chances. I think once you get the Georgia Tech, everybody else they have to pretty much win the ACC tournament to get in. For me. Big 12, Baylor takes the top spot, beating Kansas State. 15-2. TCU is right there at 14-2. I have a game behind Baylor. Kansas State dropped to 13-4. Oklahoma State 12-4, along with Utah, who was 12-4, and West Virginia 11-5 after they blow our ass with them that they took at TCU. Iowa State 10-6. Those are your teams that you should look at for as making the NCAA tournament. Once you get past Iowa State, Colorado all the way down to Houston, don't like your chances. I really don't, but hey, Colorado, Arizona have an outside chance to make the tournament. Then we go to the Big Ten. And in the Big Ten, of course, Juju Watkins and the USC Trojans are on top because they already beat UCLA, but they have another meeting coming up this weekend, which is probably the reason why I might do a show Friday if I can, because that will be one of the main things I'm going to talk about. Round 2, UCLA, SC, in Los Angeles at the home of the Bruins this time to close out their season. So UCLA 14-1 in Big Ten play. Ohio State 12-4. Maryland 11-5. Illinois 11-6. Michigan State 10-6. Michigan 10-6. Oregon 10-7. You have Indiana 9-7. Nebraska 9-8. Iowa 8-8. Minnesota 8-8. After that, Washington, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Purdue, Rutgers, and Penn State, they have no shot whatsoever. From Washington on down, they have no shot whatsoever. But from Minnesota on up to Indiana, they on the bubble. Some might be in, some might be on the way out. I look at Charlie Crean's bracketology on the ladies side to see which of the Big Ten teams are in right now or who are out. That's on the bubble line. But from UCLA all the way down to, I'm going to say probably Michigan are locks. Oregon might be on the outside looking in because they did have some tough, crazy losses on that side. But yeah. But right now, you already know both LA schools, Ohio State, Maryland, Illinois, and Michigan State, they pretty much going to be in the tournament. And then for the SEC, Texas is on top at 13-1, along with South Carolina, but they held the edge right now. One, they're the number 1 team in the land. And 2, they have a bigger overall record at 27-2. And 3, they got the most recent win over South Carolina. Did we forget? LSU right there 12-2, Kentucky 10-4, Alabama 9-5, Oklahoma 9-5, Ole Miss 9-5, Tennessee 8-6. But if you notice, Tennessee is 21-6 overall, along with Oklahoma. Tennessee, Oklahoma, Alabama, Kentucky all have 20 wins. Ole Miss is 18-8. They are fighting for their lives, along with Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. And then once you get to Florida on down, have no chance. Yes, my lady guys don't have a chance. If they would have knocked off Tennessee this past weekend when they had a double-digit lead going into halftime, and Tennessee pretty much put their foot on their necks in the second half and came back and run away with it, that was their last shot. They have no shot after this one unless they win the SEC tournament. But outside of that, which I don't see happening, Florida all the way down to Arkansas, they have no chance. So you're looking at Vanderbilt all the way up to Texas, who's either locks or fighting their way to get in the NCAA tournament. And with that being said, after this weekend coming up, the ladies will be done, and it'll be conference tournament time. And in conference tournament play, the ACC will begin on March 5th. Actually, all of them except for the Big East will begin on March 5th. They'll begin their conference tournament play, and all of them will end, except for the Big East, on March 9th. The long season, the Big East will begin on the 7th. They'll end on the 10th. As you can see here, the ACC will be in Greensboro, North Carolina. The Big 12 will be in Kansas City, Missouri. The Big Ten would be in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Big East would be in Ukiahville, Connecticut, and the SEC would be in Greensville, South Carolina. We got a couple of games tomorrow. We have the Michigan State Spartans ranked 23rd heading to Buckeye Country to take on 12th ranked Ohio State. That's at 7 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. And then on ESPN2, we have West Virginia trying to pick themselves off the mat after getting destroyed by TCU. They are hosting the 21-6 Utah Utes. Don't sleep on them. They might not be ranked, but the Utah Utes, the Lady Utes can ball. So West Virginia need to pick themselves off the mat before they find themselves going on the losing streak to close out the season. And then Thursday, what a lineup here. Probably the only two teams in the Big East that will probably make the tournament. Number 5, UConn hosting 22nd Creighton, 7 p.m. CBS Sports Network. On ESPN, it is Tobacco Road rivalry. 16th-ranked Duke hosting 8th-ranked UNC Tar Heels and Cameron Indoors. Also at 7 on the SEC Network, 11th-ranked Volunteers had the Rupp Arena to take on 15th-ranked Kentucky Wildcats. On the ACC Network at 8 p.m., 24th-ranked Seminoles of Florida State heading to South Bend to take on the 3rd-ranked Notre Dame Fire, who looking to pick themselves up off the mat after losing to NC State. And then after your Tennessee-Kentucky game on the SEC Network at 9 p.m., it is the rivalry of LSU and Alabama. 7th-ranked Tigers heading to Tuscaloosa to take on the 20th-ranked Clemson Tide. And that will do it for today's episode. Almost a 2-hour episode today. Got thrown off by Diana Taurasi retiring, but yet again, congratulations to Diana Taurasi on the retirement. Philadelphia is in a nightmare with the 76ers because it's just a nightmare, and you got blown out by 32 by the Chicago Bulls. Tom Thibodeau, you need to do something about your rotations because this 7-8-man rotation that you guys is not going to help you in the playoffs. You need to figure something out, and plus you are 0-5 against the top 2 teams in the East, and the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then college basketball is winding down, ladies and gentlemen. We are down to the final week of the ladies' season. We are down to the final 2 weeks in the men's season. We'll be in conference tournament play before you know it. And then after that, Selection Sunday, March 16th. And then we are off and running with the NCAA tournament. Thank y'all for tuning in on this episode yet again. If you're listening to us on our Play Makes the Ball YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to our YouTube channel to stay updated every time we post any videos or live shows on there. If you are watching on our Facebook channel, go ahead and follow us on there. So any articles that we post on there, you can be the first one to get that, especially and on our X account as well. That's where we be our live at. You can also catch this episode here and future episodes of Shooting Lights Out on the Real Wise Radio. Shout out to my brother, Wise and Healthy. 502 American Angel Radio. And of course, if you one of those who love podcasts, Shooting Lights Out is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and whatever else you get your podcasts at. For the Playmaker here, signing off on this episode of Shooting Lights Out. Y'all have a blessed and wonderful week. And I'll catch y'all next time.
You've done good. You've done great. But you can't stop here. You can't stop now. You gotta keep going. Through all your trials and your tribulations, you gotta keep pushing. Now, finish your canvas.
Yeah, gotta get it out the mud, that's the only way to win. Who am I to point the finger like I never ever seen? Been through the ups and downs like the letter N. They don't let you through the door, better kick that again. Cause that's the only way to win. That's the only way to go. Gotta get it out the mud. Gotta get it out the flow. Cause that's the only way to go. Let's go.
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If you want to follow the podcast, you can follow it on all streaming platforms, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and a whole lot more. This has been Shooting Lights Out.
Masterpiece.